one is better than the next. We've also managed to award about $200,000 in scholarships to Asbury Park High School students. And that's thanks to the generosity of the Hess Foundation, Leon Hess being an Asbury Park High School grad and a member of this Hall of Fame, and then the Plangier Foundation, the Asbury Park Press, and Jules Plangier, also an Asbury Park grad and a member of this Hall of Fame. You'll hear more about our scholarship program shortly from our great scholarship chair, Janice Davis Keener's off to my right. Let me go back to Carl, because this was his baby and his idea. He worked tirelessly to get it started. In the past several years, Carl and Edwina moved from Asbury Park. He sold his Mr. Fashion business and moved to Lakewood and now lives in South Carolina, where they're enjoying their retirement. For our initial Hall of Fame ceremonies 20 years ago, Carl ran around like a crazy person, getting resolutions from every mayor, every councilman, every senator, every assemblyman, everybody he could find. We had tons of endorsements from those people. You'll notice that tonight, since Carl is out of town, we had none of those. We didn't bother with all the local celebrities. In 2008, the first year we had this, we had it at the Berkeley Carteret. We had 400 people there. We had almost a standing room crowd, the biggest crowd we ever had. Our committee thought long and hard to select tonight's inductees from a list of about 50 candidates. So we'll go back to that same list in 3 years. We'll induct another group. I don't know if anybody has seen our website. We upgraded our website. We have a website, Asbury Park High School Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame, and it's got everybody in it, everybody who's in it, a history of it, and it's really a good website. So if you have a chance, jump on it, and you'll see some new faces after tonight. I'm going to ask the members of our committee, I'm going to introduce them to you and ask them to stand when I call their names. Lorraine Nonnenberg. Stanley Smith. Rita Abrams. I just saw Oliver Jones come in. There he is. Susan Skokas. Skip Laufer. And Tyshawn Jenkins. We started meeting about a year ago. Oh, Janice Keener. And Janice Davis Keener, I'm sorry. And Paul Scheid. They're all on my list. I missed somebody? I called. So I'm now going to call upon a founder of our Hall of Fame, Mr. Fashion, Carl Williams. Okay, I'll do it now. Oh. I'm going to change the plan. We have Wade Jackson, minister of the Wayside Methodist Church, Wayside, Ocean Township, for our invocation.
Good evening. As Ira said, I am Pastor Wade Jackson. I pastor the Wayside United Methodist Church. Let us pray. Loving and wise God, you have given each of us the opportunity to shape our lives and our families, but you have also given us the abilities and knowledge to shape our communities. When creating the world, you declared, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. It then became our free will for how we would use the good gifts that God gave us. This evening, we give thanks for these 10 amazing lives that we honor and induct into the Asbury Park High School Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. Each person is called to a different place, and we walk different paths. But regardless of the path that we follow, we are all called. In the group of inductees tonight, there are attorneys, artists, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, doctors, researchers, politicians, restaurateurs, educators, social workers, publishers, teachers, athletes, coaches, editors, actors, directors, volunteers, and members of boards and of nonprofits. Tonight we honor their hard work, their sacrifice, their service, their vision, their accomplishments, and the innovations. Lord, we thank you for the remarkable contributions that they have made to their communities, to their families, and to the world as both leaders and doers. We thank God that they have taken the opportunities provided to them at Asbury Park High School, given of their time and their lives to shape everything around them for good. The Apostle Paul wrote, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. We give thanks that these individuals have sown generously, often during challenging and scary times. May all of their hard work and dedication to their callings and their faith in doing good serve as legacies, inspirations and reminders for all of us. They remind us that what we do today will be what we are known for tomorrow. May we, who honor them tonight, have the good sense not to waste the opportunities that God provides to each and every one of us, remembering, as their lives have shown us, that our decisions affect not only us, but the lives of our children and every generation to come. Lord God, bless all who are gathered with us this evening. Bless our communities, bless our nation, bless all the world. May your peace fill our hearts. May your wisdom infuse our decisions, and may our hands produce that which is pleasing to you. Amen.
Good evening, family. Good evening, family. Good evening. Thank you. Welcome to our Asbury Park High School induction ceremony. It is with great humility that I stand here this evening. Humble because of the spiritual path and reality checks that have become a part of my daily task. It is events like this that my mother always had us to recognize. I think about my mother and her daily teachings, her inspirational reminders to her children that life is like a pencil without an eraser. Your choices in life cannot be erased, so make sure you always make good decisions. Without an eraser, you cannot change your mistakes. You can only learn from them. With age comes wisdom. My personal and professional life experiences have taught me to endure the tough times. They will pass. To tolerate differences, we must embrace them. To have empathy for others, you never know what someone else is going through. Tonight, we honor the accomplishments of former students that have made a difference in the lives of others. They have also had special people in their lives to help them through life's journey. Tonight is also a testament to the Asbury Park school system that provided the motivation and direction to the path of their success without regard to their economic or social status. In closing, I want to thank each of you for your attendance this evening and pass on to you a Native American proverb. We will be known forever for the tracks we leave behind. Have a blessed evening, be well, and be safe. To my wife, you are simply the best. Committee, thanks for us having your back, and thank you for doing such a wonderful job on this particular committee. Amen.
Part of our committee is the awarding of scholarships. And we have the chair of that committee since we started. She's my classmate at Asbury Park, Janice Davis Keener.
I don't know whether I should. Good evening, everyone. I am Janice Davis Keener, APHS, class of 1959, scholarship share for the Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame Committee. I would like for my co-chair, Susan Skokas, to please stand. Susan's help is invaluable to this committee. I appreciate you, Susan. Thank you. Tonight we have two Asbury Park High School students with us. They were sponsored by Barbara Levy Hollander, class of 73, and past 2014 Hall of Fame inductee. She was unable to be with us tonight, so she sponsored Zanaya Love. Did I say it right? Zanaya? Please stand. Zanaya is the current homecoming queen. She's described as an excellent student, and she is a Brookdale Dream Scholar. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Brookdale's Dream Scholar program, she will get, if successful, an associate's degree the month before she gets her high school diploma. Thank you. Robert Pennington is also joining us tonight, thanks to Barbara Levy. And Robert is described as a talented writer and he has been invited to sing in the Macy's Homecoming Parade. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we're pleased to have two of Asbury Park High School staff members, Counselor Monica Crasper and Nancy Espinada, Supervisor of Curriculum and Instruction. Thank you both for joining us. Since 2008, this committee has awarded over $230,000 to 244 deserving Asbury Park High School students. Until this past year, our scholarships were renewable if the students awardees maintained a 2.8 GPA. These scholarships have been made possible by the Hess Foundation and currently the Plangier's Family Fund. Other scholarships have also been donated by the Baldino family, Ron Casey, and the family of Carl Williams. Since his induction into the Hall of Fame, James Daly, class of '59, my classmate, has created a foundation that selects, mentors, and awards a full ride, and he has done that with 5 students, Asbury Park High School students that attend Ohio University, his alma mater. Thank you. We sincerely hope that our Asbury Park High School Hall of Fame inductees will continue to financially support the achievers of Asbury Park High School. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Chiat, and what we're going to do is before we have the dinner served, we're going to introduce you to 4 of the Hall of Fame inductees. Then we'll have dinner, and then between dinner and dessert, we will introduce the others. We're going in alphabetical order, but I'm going to step out of the alphabetical order for one moment because Jerry Sroka could not be here tonight because his wife, Mariette Hartley, who is a famous actress, is very ill, and Jerry just could not make it in from California. Jerry grew up in Belmar. He was a neighbor of one of our other Hall of Famers, Dr. Steve Hoffman. They lived on the same street. Jerry graduated from Asbury Park High School in 1964, and Jerry, when I spoke to him last night, he said, all I want you to say is how much I loved Asbury Park and going to high school. And I said back to him, and I say to you, and we love Jerry Sroka reading the sports column that he wrote in the Megaphone all those years that he was in high school. Jerry, comic wit, took him to Los Angeles, where he had a successful career as an actor, a writer, and a director. He has given much to his community over the years. I encourage you to read his bio, and I also encourage you to read his latest movie, watch his latest movie. It's called Our Almost Completely True Love Story, starring Jerry and his wife. So we're honored to have Jerry into the Hall of Fame. Now, for our first inductee that's actually here, I would like to call Mark Aronchick up to the podium. Mark, where are you? Mark grew up on 4th Avenue in Bradley Beach and graduated from Asbury Park High School in 1967. From selling hot dogs in Bradley Beach, he went on to become one of Pennsylvania's leading citizens and lawyers. His accomplishments and awards are far too numerous for me to tell you about at this particular time, but I refer you to the bio, which will give you all of that information. Mark is especially proud that his law firm that he established engaged in a tremendous amount of pro bono work, helping people that couldn't afford to pay and also in causes that were so important to so many people. One of his most noteworthy cases was protecting the Pennsylvania citizens' voting rights in the last election. One of Mark's,
This time too.
one of Mark's, I was going to avoid getting into that. One of Mark's favorite quotes is from a famous rabbi. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I am not for others, what am I? And if not now, when? Now we induct Mark into our Hall of Fame for all that he has done for others. Congratulations, Mark. Okay. I'm supposed to be short, right? Short, okay, I'll try. It'll be a first. First of all, to be here at Jumping Brook is amazing because this is where I caddied. My buddy George there and I were trying to figure out how to make money, George Sauer, and he said, well, let's just get on our bikes and come up and caddy. And we spent years here. Met Steve Hoffman's father, caddied for him, became a regular caddy for Steve. Where's Steve? Somewhere. And there you go. And actually learned how to play golf. Look, I'm proud to be here among all these incredible honorees. I'm humbled, actually, to be here. And to be in, with so many of the Hall of Famers who have done amazing things all across the board, all kinds of things. So congratulations to all of the people who will speak after me. And congratulations to the people who are in the Hall of Fame. Thank you to the Hall of Fame leaders. The spiritual words we heard before were deeply meaningful, and thank you for those. Andy and Sue Skokas, I don't think this would have happened if they didn't get on my back and started cheering for me. And George Sauer, who's sitting there, and John Colby, my two lifelong buddies, thought it would be a good idea to push me and sponsor me. John, how many Grammy Awards, John? I mean, it's like amazing. And his music still keeps coming. And George, 4 or 5 years New Jersey PGA president. That's pretty good, right? National PGA board, but a founder of the First Tee Project for inner city students and to learn how to play golf. My sister Jerry is here. My other two siblings live too far away to make it. Jerry's sitting there with my brother-in-law John, and good God, I didn't expect my two 6 years old maybe buddies, 5 years old, Bobby Kahn and Billy Sharappa, sitting there with me. Tom Baldino, Mark. I mean, there's so many people. I'm proud that you showed up. I have no idea who spoke to us at our graduation 57 years ago. I have no idea. But if that person somehow could foresee just 2 years, 3 years into the future we were entering, he would have somehow told us about Martin Luther King's assassination, Robert Kennedy, the sane Robert Kennedy's assassination, the dad, the Vietnam War, Watergate, the sit-ins, the constant movements for liberation of all sorts of people. And if I heard any of that, I would have been scared to death. I would have wondered whether or not I was really ready from the high school years I had, from the grammar school years in Bradley Beach. Was I really ready to get involved in all of that? And, I went to University of Pennsylvania. My two roommates were both from prep schools called preparatory schools. They were supposed to be kids who were ready. And I learned real quick they weren't ready. They weren't ready because they didn't have what I had. And they didn't even understand what I understood. And what was that? We all came from a special place, Asbury Park. It's ironic that we're here in Neptune, right? Our enemy, be talking about Asbury Park. But anyway, that's where we are. And but what I learned in Bradley Beach, 4th Avenue, famous street I'll talk about in a second, and Asbury Park High School,
were family values, right? Didn't we all learn about family values, the strength that you get from family? From my parents, who are not here, I wish they were. They could. They're both dead, but they would have loved to see this. For my sister and my two siblings, Martin and Ronnie. Martin and Ronnie were varsity scholars at Asbury Park High School also, and Jerry was a homecoming queen. So we left some marks on the high school, the Aronchicks. But what we learned were family values that I've carried through with my own family now. Married 51 years. That's pretty good, right? And 2 adult children. Religious values. I went to synagogue in Bradley Beach, but all of you went somewhere because we had one of everything in our area, one of every kind of church, one of everything. And we had diversity of every kind, and not just sort of make-believe fake, let's just have diversity, but diversity that was in your face diversity. Like we knew each other, we understood our differences, we understood where we came from. And we had working class backgrounds, all of us in Asbury Park, except for the deal kids like John Colby. But we learned a little bit about how they lived when we were in Asbury Park. Culture seeped in my years anyway, because some of the kids who had a little bit of money went to San Francisco a couple of the summers and came back and were telling us about what was going on in San Francisco. Kind of interesting. It was kind of a mixture of cultures that were going on at that time. So here's the main thing that we learned from all of this, that all people have value. All people are special. And if you want to live a rich life, then you have the obligation to find out the special qualities of the other people around you. And once you do, your life will be richer. And we learned that in not that direct a way, but we learned it because of where we live here, where we grew up in Bradley Beach and Asbury Park. We learned that. I'll just give you one quick example. George Sauer, my dear friend from Bradley Beach, and John Colby, my dear friend from Deal, they couldn't have been more different backgrounds growing up. And even now, they probably have very, very different views of life and our country and everything else. But they're sitting together, right? And they're my friends. And that's because all of that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is the bond that we had, that we grew up with when we were here. Billy Sharappa, Bobby Kahn, we grew up as little kids, different kinds of people, but became very dear friends, and that I'm blessed. All of you that I grew up with will always remind me of who I am, and I will never forget, and have never forgotten who I am. I've been with leaders now all of my life. I mean, really, presidents and vice presidents and senators and business leaders and all of that. But one thing I knew from leaving here, and I've known my whole life, is they're just people. They really are just people. And they're people sometimes with needs, and they're people that want to be friendly, and they're people who can contribute, but they're just people. And while, yes, you could read about me, I'm at the top of my particular game, it's never been about money. It's never been about acquisitions or things. It's always been about giving back. It's always knowing that if I gave back, I was going to get something good. Millions of dollars, what my law firm spent on the same-sex marriage case, pro bono. It was a fight for love, and I got that love. Millions of dollars we spent on the gerrymandered map in Pennsylvania to make it a fair map, a congressional map. That was all about democracy, and that's what I got. I was there, I was in the middle of it, fairness, equality, that's what we fought for. A huge amount of money to get the soda tax in place in Philadelphia, the only big city that has that. Thousands of people, thousands of kids, early childhood education because of that tax, thousands. And yes, 2020 was sort of a remarkable moment. I've been in political battles my whole life. 2000, the Bush v. Gore litigation down in Florida, but 2020, I had the God-given blessing of the only courtroom in the United States Rudy Giuliani decided to walk into was mine, and he walked into me, and he walked out without a particular body part. And it got a lot of attention, but the most important thing about it was until January 6th, of course, we showed the world that we believe in the rule of law, and we believe in the judiciary, and we believe in democracy. And unfortunately, I think I have to fight another one or two of those battles in the coming months. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Evan? Here,
Do I leave this up here?
take it. Where's Knowledge? Knowledge. All right, Knowledge Bennett graduated from Asbury Park High School in 1995. His mom is here, Frances Bennett, and his brother and sister. They've all been active in the Asbury Park community. From his start in Asbury Park, Knowledge has gone on to become an internationally recognized contemporary artist with his work in high demand. Like his family, Knowledge has contributed much to the world that we live in. In reviewing his extensive bio, there was a quote from him that really struck me. "I've always thought it to be the responsibility of an artist to help restore a degree of dignity, integrity, and a sense of humanity. At the core of my practice, I seek to engage, enlighten, and inspire." Well, Knowledge's life work has done that, and we are honored to have him join the Asbury Park Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Greetings, everyone. I'd like to begin by first thanking all those who share responsibility in me being here tonight. Ms. Skokas, who definitely stayed on me and made sure that I got everything that needed to be turned in. My life is a busy life, just like everybody else is here. But sometimes I need a little extra wrangling to get me to do some of the things that I should be doing, and my mother definitely wants me to be doing. But I'm honored to be in this room tonight. It brings back a lot of memories. I've been out of this community for a while now, working out of Los Angeles, California, traveling the world, working around the world. But Asbury Park always holds a special place in my heart. And I come to find out that it also holds a special place in a lot of people's heart who I meet around the world. All right, I mention myself, I tell them what I do, and it's cool. Then I mention I'm from Asbury, and all of a sudden they're interested and they want to take a photo. It never ceased to amaze me. That happened to me even being I remember once I was over in Lake Como in Italy, and I was talking to a police officer, and I'm just talking about the difference with officers here and officers there, and how officers here have guns and over there they don't, and all this other stuff. And then he got to find out where I was at, and all of a sudden he wanted to take these photos, and he has all these stories about Bruce Springsteen, and I was like, yeah, I know that guy. No, but Asbury Park is a community that I'm definitely proud of. I definitely carry it with me everywhere I go. I carry the memories of a lot of my friends and family who I grew up with who are no longer here with us today. Those are the people who I really, really do this for, as well as the kids that's coming up, the younger kids today, and even some of the children from the future. I want them to be able to one day look up the same way that I looked up and seen certain images of people and just imagine what it took for those people to get there. Those images that used to be on the wall in Asbury Park High School, those things meant something to us. Symbols have a lot of power, and me being a photographer, I understand the power of imagery. And I'm proud that one day my image too will hang somewhere in that school. It's already been there for football, and I'm proud of that. But now it'll be there for something of this level and this degree. And it's something that I think a lot of kids would look to and, find some meaning and find something that they can relate in a character like myself. Growing up here, it taught me many things, but one of the things that I took away most of all was tenacity, right? That ability to be persistent, that ability to look adversity straight in the face, right? Look it in the eyes and not cower, not fear. You know, I move around this world with no fear, and it has a big part because of where I'm from and the lessons that I've learned here and the people who have helped shape my life here. You know, starting in my own home with my mother and my father, you know, my extended family as far as my grandparents and my uncles and aunts and so forth, but then the overarching community that we have in this city. I grew up at a time when Asbury was just that. It was a community, you know, and not only was it a community, it was a diverse community. So, you know, the experiences that I have here have shaped me to go out into the world and succeed in ways that I could have never imagined, you know, but just when I thought Asbury didn't prepare me for the world, it actually did. You know, when I got there, I realized that, you know, what we got here, it was enough. You know, and that's what I want a lot of these kids to understand. Sometimes, you know, we look across and the whole grass is greener situation has us believing that what we have isn't enough. You know, they have better textbooks, they have better access to technology, they may have better access to just better facilities and so forth and so on, better equipment on the football field, but that still didn't stop us from making it to the state champions. That still didn't stop us, you know, from putting up numbers that, you know, could overall just make our community proud of us. I was a part of the 95 football team who helped, in my opinion, bring back the winning spirit to Asbury Park football. And that meant a lot to us. You know, and just a couple months ago, maybe a year or so, we had less than a year, we had the big class reunion from classes 90 to 99. I was busy, I didn't have a time to come in, but I watched everything through social media and all the photos that my family and friends were sending me. And I was proud to see some of the things that, you know, my fellow Asburyans have went off and achieved in life. You know, I knew that we was always capable of doing it, but more importantly than me knowing and us knowing as individuals was the people like our teachers who knew and our coaches who knew and instilled that in us. You know, I had one coach, Coach Hudson, who would say to me, at the time I was probably, I don't know, 5'9", 165 pounds, soaking wet, and Coach would tell me, listen, you may not go off to be a professional football player, so don't look at football as your end. It's just a means to get you to the end, right? So if it gets you access to education, if it gets you access to a network, who you can utilize that network to develop your, you know, or grow your network, you know, those are the things that actually matter. You know, other coaches, I wish he was here tonight, but I don't see him around, but Coach Jesse Kendall, you know, he played a major role in my life, not only my life, but on my senior football team squad, we had 12 seniors, and 11 of us, Coach literally walked us into all the different colleges and universities, and some of us didn't have GPAs that, you know, qualified us to be there, but Coach had his way of getting his way when it came to his kids. And, you know, he could be very persistent, and I learned a lot of that from him. Like, he just didn't take no for an answer, and it changed a lot of our lives because many of us wasn't necessarily headed in that direction, and he walked us onto them campuses. I remember he took me by the hand personally and took me over to the College of New Jersey, which at the time was called Trenton State College. And whatever conversation he had with those guys, with the coaches, when we finished that when he finished that conversation, I was admitted to that school. And you know, and you know, I remember the second day of school, I ended up losing my closest brother, Nabate. He passed away, and that really, it screwed me up. It made me no longer want to play football. I was no longer interested in certain things, but being inside that school, it gave me a foundation and it gave me access to a community outside of the one that I knew that helped prepare me to go out into the world and deal with people from all walks of life. And 25 years later, after I actually dropped out of that school, my daughter ended up graduating from that school. You know, so my daughter Medina, so I always tell her, like, she went back and got what I left over there. You know what I'm saying? What they owed me. But speaking of Coach Kendall and the Honorable Judge Paul Shiad, I remember being a teenager and getting into some trouble. And I remember that trouble was going to cost me 2 years of my life in juvenile detention. And Coach found out that I got in trouble, and he said, don't worry about it. I'll come to court with you. And, you know, I know the judge. That's a good friend of mine. We played ball together. I'll speak to him. So I remember the morning of that court appearance, Coach was nowhere to be found. And I was like, oh man, this dude done got me, you know. But anyway, you know, before Judge Chiat, you know, came down with his ruling, I remember the woman coming from the back of the chambers and said, you know, Judge, you have a call. And you know, he looked at it, he said, what are you talking about? I'm in the middle of something here. He said, no, I think you might want to take this call. I had no idea what was going on, but when Judge left and came back out, he told me, another friend of mine, that we were two of the luckiest kids he ever met, and that Coach Jesse Kendall had taken responsibility, you know, for us, and said that he would take us into his care and make sure that we don't get in any more trouble, so forth and so on. So, you know, Judge Chiat gave us a second chance. And that second chance, when I received that second chance, I never looked back. And I was always appreciative. So when I got the call saying that, you know, Judge Chiat was actually one of the board members or the head of this committee who makes his decision, I was like, Judge Chiat, I know a Judge Chiat, you know? I was like, if you got time, I could tell you a story or two. But that's like a full circle moment for me, you know, because he did give me a second chance. And when I think about standing up here tonight, I think about second chances. You know, even I see some of my other coaches are here, Coach Hayes and Coach Beatty, prior to even getting to the high school, they helped me get a second chance in the middle school. You know, and those two guys had my back and, you know, and always had all of our best interests at heart. You know, so when I think of community, I think of things like that. You know, one of my former teachers is here, Mrs. Wanda Smith. You know, that's a lady who, you know, she made you want to come to school, right? We had some who made us maybe not want to come, but then she was one of those who made you want to come. She always had a joke for you. She always had a way of educating you where you found interest in what it was that she had to offer, right? And those are the things that I think about, because knowing how to teach is one thing, but understanding how students learn is another. And she understood how we learn, and she was able to relate to us in a way that not too many were, or even cared to. You know, she always went. And then the thing is, I can't get away from her, right? Every time I come back home and there's something going on, she's always there. So she's been in this community forever. She's tight with my family. You know, she's tight with so many families in the community. And it's just those familiar faces that I look forward to when I come back home, you know. But above and beyond, you know, I wouldn't be here, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my mother. You know, my mother, Miss Bennett, Miss Frances Bennett, this lady stays on me like no other. She helps me. I don't spend a lot of time living in the now. I'm constantly working towards what's my next project, what's my next body of work, what's the next city that I need to go to, you know, develop my network, right? And further develop my practice. But she helps me slow down sometime and, you know, as they say, stop and smell the roses. She is one of the biggest gardeners in Asbury. So that's her thing. But she helps me stop and smell the roses and get me to acknowledge, you know, all the ways in which this community has actually shaped my life and remind me of the things that I actually owe this community. So wherever I go, I represent the black and blue. You know, I do my best to make each and every one of you guys proud, you know, those within the room and those outside.
Great.
You know, all right?
Thank
we
you.
appreciate that. Sorry about that. I can be long-winded. It's been a while. Definitely, thanks, Judge. Thank you, everyone. Okay, got it. Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. Yes. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening. Will Dr. Marlena Brown please come forward? I'm good. How are you?
I am fine.
So our next honoree is Dr. Marlena Brown of the class of 1997. It's interesting that her favorite quote, paraphrased by John F. Kennedy, is, "For those to whom much is given, much is required." That's an interesting quote, because Dr. Brown wasn't given anything. She earned everything and gave back even more. I encourage you to read her bio. It's very impressive.
Dr. Brown, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hey, I am profoundly honored to stand before you tonight, filled with deep gratitude and appreciation. Being inducted into the Asbury Park High School Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame is a privilege I never imagined, and it reflects the incredible support system that has surrounded me throughout my life's journey. So first and foremost, I want to express my heartfelt thanks to my family. Despite the challenges we face, my mom, my 3 sisters, my niece, and my extended family were always there, lifting me up and encouraging me to chase my dreams. My mother, who is a single mother of us 4 beautiful young ladies here, my 3 sisters are here, your unwavering belief in me and your countless sacrifices have been the cornerstone of my success. To my sisters and my niece, your intelligence, compassion, and resilience have inspired me and continue to inspire me every day. You have shown me the true meaning of strength, confidence, and the importance of protecting and uplifting others. This honor belongs to you as much as it does to me. I also want to extend my deepest gratitude to my sorority sisters of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Your sisterhood has been a source of empowerment and motivation. The values of scholarship, service, and social action, yes, I had to put it in there so that those who don't know, know, and those who know. These values we uphold have guided me in my personal and professional life. Thank you for your constant support and for being a beacon of excellence and unity. And to the members of Central Jersey Club who are here, your camaraderie and dedication to our community has been instrumental in my journey. I am proud to be part of such a dynamic and impactful group of young women. I would also like to recognize the other 9 inductees. If you've read their incredible biographies and accomplishments, they are truly, truly inspiring. It is an honor to be included alongside such distinguished individuals who have made significant contributions to our community and beyond. I also want to take some time to give my heartfelt thanks to the Asbury Park school system and the dedicated teachers who, despite, during my time, budget cuts, possibly lack of support from state officials, and the challenges of teaching in an underfunded school system, came to work. My teachers came to work every day with a sense of urgency, love, and care. Your commitment to encouraging and instilling faith in students such as myself, many of whom may have been considered from the wrong side of the tracks, this truly has made a profound impact and a difference. Your dedication and belief in our potential have been a beacon of hope and inspiration. And to the students that are present here today, Zanaya and Robert, my hope and dream is that I can inspire you to do more and be greater than I ever could. This is the true purpose behind everything that I do. I see your potential, and I am excited to witness your growth and the impact that you will have on the world. So believe in yourself, strive for excellence, and know that you are capable of achieving greatness. And as the saying goes, to whom much is given, much is required. I am actively and acutely aware of the responsibilities that come with the opportunities I have been afforded. In the words of the great philosopher Sean Corey Carter, young Carter, go farther, go further, go harder. Is that not why we came? And if not, then why bother? Those words remind us to push beyond our limits and make the most of the gifts and opportunities we have been given. And most importantly, to share those gifts to guide and uplift others. Lastly, I want to thank the organizers of the Asbury Park High School Alumni Hall of Fame Committee. Your recognition of all of our achievements is deeply humbling. Thank you for this incredible honor and for celebrating the accomplishments of Asbury Park High School alumni. Your efforts in highlighting the success of our community members inspire us all to continue striving for success. In closing, I want to emphasize the importance of showing our youth positive images and highlighting people from their community, from our community. When young people see individuals who look like them, who's from the same town as them, achieving great things, it instills a sense of possibility. and ambition. It helps them to believe that they too can overcome any obstacles and reach their dreams. Positive role models from their own community provide a powerful source of inspiration and motivation, fostering a sense of pride and purpose. I am reminded that no one achieves success alone. It is through the love, support, and encouragement of those around us that we are able to reach our fullest potential. I am eternally grateful to each and every one of you who have played a part in my journey. Thank you for believing in me and for helping me to become the woman I am today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to honor a politician at this particular point. Yvonne Clayton, you want to come on up here? And I want Yvonne, as a politician, I want you to understand that you're standing between your speech and dinner. Yvonne graduated Asbury Park High School in 1962 and went to college in Ohio, getting a BS degree in social work. She began her social work career in New York City, but then switched gears and decided, I guess, to make some money. And for a time she went to AT&T and had a distinguished and successful career there. And if you want to look at the bio, you can read about all of her accomplishments. She returned to Asbury Park to live in the family home once she retired and was appalled that nothing had changed really on the West Side. And that motivated her in 2015 to say, I can do something about it, and she got involved in politics. She ran for council and has continued to serve to the present day on the Asbury Park Council. Through her untiring efforts, and really in reading all of her material, it was really a struggle. Affordable housing has been brought to the West Side, and she has been involved in many projects to improve the quality of life for all Asbury Park citizens. Yvonne's motto for life is be open to opportunities and new experiences. You never know where life will take you. Well, tonight, life is taking you into the Asbury Park High School Distinguished Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you. I am so grateful to be included in this Hall of Fame. I'm so impressed with the other inductees. I'm in awe of their accomplishments and the things that they've done and the places they've gone. I want to say a special thank you to Lorraine Nunnenberg. I was not easy. I couldn't even remember the year I graduated. So it was tough. And it's like I had a conversation with one of my friends talking about the Hall of Fame and how excited I was and how I couldn't believe it. And she said, that's because you're old. So, and I guess there's some truth to that. But tonight, I want to thank the people who've helped me get here. You don't accomplish anything by yourself. You have to have support. You have to have encouragement, and you have to have love. My parents, the Claytons, Robert and Lucille. My dad was the son of a sharecropper. He never had a formal education. He didn't learn to read or write until he was drafted into the Army. But he spent his life working hard so that I could get an education and so that I could go to college. And my parents told me I could be anything and do anything. And I believed them because they were my parents and I know they wouldn't lie to me. My parents told me that I could be president of the United States. That didn't happen, but somebody that looks like me may be one day soon. There was Mr. Keys. Mr. Keys was my 6th grade teacher, and he broke up the only physical fight I've ever had in my life. And he said to me something I've never forgotten. He said, "Animals fight, humans reason." And then he spent his free time teaching me how to play chess, because he said chess teaches you how to maneuver. It teaches you that you have to think about the long game. It teaches you that if you make the wrong move, there are consequences, and those consequences can be good or they can be bad. And then there was Mr. Williams, the father of famous Wendy of the same last name, one of my high school English teachers, who encouraged me to set high goals and pursue them. And then I remember my time at Asbury Park High School. I remember it fondly, but for me it was the track club, selling the megaphone, football games, but what I enjoyed the most was student varieties and being a member of the Shoredettes, a high-kicking dance group. We created, we rehearsed, we presented, and then when we had this finished product and it was received well, we were so excited and so gratified. And I will always, always be grateful to Janice Davis Kenner. She inspired me to attend a small, very small at the time, historically black college in Southern Ohio, and to pledge Delta Sigma Theta sorority. 2 decisions that, in addition to giving me an education, gave me a true sense of self, and friends and friendships that have lasted a lifetime. There was my late husband, Arthur Galvin, who supported, loved, encouraged me in anything, any crazy thing that I might want to do. You know, one summer I said, you know, I think I'll go work for Cirque du Soleil, and I'll play a kazoo and pass out popcorn. And he said, have fun. And I did. I miss him terribly, but I know that he is happy with what I've been doing. But when he passed, I was at loose ends. I'm back in Asbury Park. I haven't lived here for a long time. I've been in New York, and I need something to do. So I had the opportunity to get involved in some community organizations. And then I realized there was so much to be done. A lot has changed in the last 10 years in Asbury Park. And a lot of that has to do with the wonderful group of people who reached out to me, called Asbury Together. They saw something in me that I never, ever considered. And a year later, I found myself being sworn in as a council person. So, like, on the knees here is Deputy Mayor Amy Quinn, and over at the other table is Councilwoman Eileen Chapman. And to them, I have to say thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for being willing to step outside the box and realize that there's a whole community in this city that just needs the support, just needs a little bit of love and encouragement, and things can change. And we've seen change. We've seen a lot of change. So my life has been one of starts, stops, twists, turns. And I just think a fantastical kind of fate has been on my shoulders. So how did I get here? A lot of luck, some determination. So to young people out there, I would just want to say, public service is really rewarding. You don't just give, you get so much back. You can't believe what it does to your soul. So, my thoughts in life is always be open to new possibilities. But along the way, make sure you enjoy yourself. Thank you very much.
Organization that believes in a culture of people first. I will let him tell you about his journey. Julio, it's all yours.
Thank you. I'm going to try and be brief because I'm tired. I'm normally in the bed by now, sleeping. Good evening, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here, to be a part of the Asbury Park High School Distinguished Hall of Fame Class of 2024. I want to thank the nominating committee for the recognition, and I'd also like to congratulate my fellow inductees. I'd also like to thank my boy Gus Jenkins for nominating me. I'm sure he had a pivotal role in putting my name up. We go way back. There's only two men in my life, my blood brother Chaz and Gus, that I would put with my girls, and that's him. So thank you, Gus. So when I got the call about the induction, I was surprised. At 42 years old, I thought I would need a lot more gray hair to be getting the call. And I also felt like I haven't accomplished everything that I want to yet. But then I realized how important this moment is for my daughters, Brielle and Sage, and my nephew Marcus. And I wanted them to see that success is possible, even when life throws you curveballs. Losing my mom, Annette, was one of those curveballs. The year was May 2020. Oh God, May 2000. I'm sorry, right before I was about to graduate. But my mom built a village, and some of that village is here. My Aunt Carol, my Aunt Nat, my baby sister Jeanette is here as well, and they were part of that village. A community of mentors and friends who stepped in when I needed them most. They reminded me that even in the darkest moments, there's always hope and someone who wants to help you move forward. I believe mentorship has been the biggest part of my life. I still remember Janet Palmer. She was my second grade teacher, and she saw something in me and pushed me into those advanced class programs. And 10 years later, when I became student council president, she was my advisor, still pushing me. And then I remember programs like Project Impact with the Brookdale Community College, or Project Venture with New Jersey Natural Gas, or Partnership for Success at the high school with Miss Daly, or College Bound, or the Inroads Internship Program. It was programs like these that allowed me to connect with other successful people, or people striving to be successful. But no mentor was more impactful than my parents. My mom, my birth mother, she taught me resilience and the importance of family. When she passed, James Swanson and Marty Gillis became a second set of parents. They taught me about hard work, aim high, and always give back to the community. Because of them, I'm here today, more committed than ever to carry on these lessons forward. And speaking on carrying forward, I'd be remiss not to mention my wife, Larissa. Since the day we met, you've been my North Star. She holds our family together, keeps us all grounded. Our daughters are blessed to have her as their mother, and I'm incredibly grateful to have her by my side. Thank you, Twink. Finally, to the students here, let me share some advice with you. find your village. Life will test you, and you will face times when you feel like giving up. But there's always going to be people there willing to support you. Seek mentors, lean on your community, and remember, give back. Each of us reflects who lifts us. Honor that and keep the spirit alive. Thank you for all this incredible honor. I'm humbled and grateful and can't wait to see the journey that I continue on. I told you I was going to be short. Thank you. Thank you.
Vinnie Gorman, can you please come up? I remember Vinnie Gorman, class of 1962, from our days at Asbury Park High School. Vinnie was a terrific athlete and an even nicer person, and I don't think any of that has changed. Vinnie did so much for Brookdale Community College during his career that they named a building after him, Gorman Hall. Now, how many people have a building named after them in their own lifetime? Vinnie, it's all yours. Thank you.
It's nice like tonight that I wish my name started with AA. Lots of tough acts to follow here. I do have you covered, Julio, with the gray hair. So you're good. Mark, I love listening to your stories and the impact that you've had, and frankly, all the speakers to date and that will follow. I will try to be brief, maybe not quite as brief, Julio, as you, but my table has a stopwatch on. A little more than 62 years ago, I graduated from APHS as a member of the class of 62. That's my new lucky number now, 62. Never in my wildest dreams would I, or for that matter, Vice Principal Romanus. How many remember? Yeah, well, he was a very imposing figure, especially for us folks as freshmen and sophomores. And he had a lot of duties as a vice principal, including dealing with students that had excessive tardiness problems. And unfortunately, my average tardies per semester exceeded my average points per quarter in basketball. But we got to know each other pretty well, almost on a first name basis, at least from him to me, and I kind of knew Cy pretty well. So we had an interesting relationship, and given the short time tonight, we'll cover that on another occasion. But anyway, neither of us would have imagined I'd be standing here tonight accepting induction into the Alumni Hall of Fame. I'm honored and humbled to be here, and want to express my deepest gratitude to the selection committee, and you heard a little bit about them tonight, especially Marilyn Tremano for nominating and putting my name forth. And I would like to also express my gratitude to some folks who put my name forward as former classmates and inductees, Drs. Roy Kaplan and Dave Sharp, Doc Sharp, and Marie Corcione West and her sister, Judy and her sister Marie. A big thank you to Lorraine Nonnenberg for all that she does, and you've seen a lot of that here tonight and the things that she's had to put up with, all of us, including yours truly. Paul Shyatt for collecting the money and paying the bills, and maybe most importantly, getting our meal choices correct. I got a feeling that maybe Paul had a little help at home there, possibly, Judy. Is that a possibility? And to co-chairs, Carl Williams. Carl, how great it is to see you here, having left the area a while ago. I left the area myself 20 years ago, and it's great to see you. I'm a North Carolinian, and welcome to the Carolinas. And to Ira Kreisman, congratulations. Your unstinting devotion and all that has gone on in the 20 years that you first had those dreams to honor our alma mater and its graduates is unmatched. Your dreams and undeterred commitment to preserving its legacy is the sole reason, frankly, that we're all here tonight. Thank you very much for that. Lastly, I want to send a special message to number 77, my gridiron teammate, classmate Ollie Jones. Ollie's been a lifetime Jersey Shore representative, member of the community, serving over 40 years now. I think Ollie with the board of directors with the Boys Club. And I think if I got it right, one of 5 original members of this committee for the hall. Very special knowing you all these years and seeing you here tonight and meeting your son. Congratulations. To sum it up, in the matchless words of one of my childhood heroes, Yogi Berra, how many Yankee fans do we have? How many Mets fans? Yeah, it might be a Subway Series, huh? Pretty neat. Well, Yogi was known for his euphemisms and comments, and one that I've always enjoyed is during one of his many ceremonies where he was honored, he got up and looked at the audience and he expressed his gratitude by saying, "Thank you all for making this day necessary." Okay. To my fellow inductees, what a group. What a wonderfully impressive group, not only this year, but all the previous years. I offer my sincerest congratulations. Your achievements serve as an inspiration to us all, and I'm thrilled to be part of the class alongside you. And a special shout out to my class of 62 classmate, Yvonne Clayton. Where are you, Yvonne? Yeah, congratulations. And to longtime friend Mary Kaplan from the class of 63, and Nubby Napolitano from the class of 63. Nubby and I spent a lot of time at different ball fields and over the years, and it's great to see you, Nubby. It is indeed a privilege to be included among such an impressive group and who have made a lasting impact in your respective fields. I applaud your willingness to give back and to pay it forward. Let us use this honor not as a milestone to rest upon, but as a reminder of the responsibility we have to continue to inspire and uplift others. And boy, we've heard those stories here tonight. Together as proud alumni, let us continue to support and nurture the next generation of leaders and change makers. And again, from what we've heard here tonight, there's no doubt that's been going on and will continue to go on for years ahead. To my former colleagues and friends, I would not be here tonight without your unwavering support. Your guidance and encouragement have been my rock throughout our journey, and this honor is as much yours as it is mine. In particular, I want to express my deepest appreciation to Brookdale Community College. Not surprisingly to me, you've heard Brookdale referred to a couple of times here tonight as an integral part of this community, and they were an equally integral part of my career and life. The opportunities afforded me during my 32 years there were instrumental in shaping my career path. Brookdale will always hold a special place in my heart, and I am forever grateful. Thank you, Dr. David Stout, President of Brookdale, and my sidekick, Anne-Marie Spararco, for being here tonight to recognize me and your support. It's very, very much appreciated. And I might proudly add that Brookdale recently was acknowledged as the #1 community college in New Jersey. That may not surprise you all here. One of 18 community colleges, all 17 wish they could be Brookdale. It hasn't changed in the 20 years since I left, and it won't change in the next 20 years. Brookdale Jersey Blues and APHS Blue Bishops are perfect together, right, Jerry? Yep. And to the Blue Bishop students that are here, I have a brief message, pretty much what Julio just offered. Never stop chasing your dreams, no matter how big or impossible they may seem. Embrace the challenges that lie ahead as they will shape you into the individuals you will eventually become. APHS provided me with a solid foundation, and I'm confident it will do the same for you. Keep striving for excellence, keep pushing for boundaries, and most importantly, keep believing in yourselves. In closing, let me have a hand. Get credit for something here. I want to express my profound appreciation. I was going to give up my time, actually, to the gentleman from Los Angeles, Knowledge, but my table talked me out of it. Just kidding. What a story. What a wonderful story. I want to express my profound appreciation to the selection committee for supporting my induction. It is a reminder that the seeds planted during our early years can blossom into some truly amazing things in the future. I will carry this honor with me always and hope to make the APHS community proud in all my future endeavors, despite the amount of white hair I have here. Julio got some more years ahead. And most importantly, make Vice President Romanos happy that I was arrived here on time. Lastly, to my amazing family, son Kevin is here, daughter Kristen, my wonderful wife of 59 years, Janet, class of 63. We're actually working on 61 years together and counting. Wonderful. Without your unwavering love and support every step of the way, this moment would not have been possible without you by my side. You are truly, and this is where I get emotional, the wind beneath my wings. God bless you all and thank you. Go Bishop.
Okay, Sean? Let's get a picture.
Thank you.
Mary Henderson, would you please come up? I know. How are you? It's my pleasure to introduce Mary Henderson Kaplan. She reminded me of the Kaplan part. Class of 1963. Mary's favorite quote by Sandra Day O'Connor is, "Our purpose in life is to help others along the way." Mary did just that as she dedicated her career to helping those with dementia. She's worked in the field of geriatric health as a clinician, administrator, educator, and community activist. Mary has published numerous articles and 6 books. That's quite a career. So Mary?
This was really quite a surprise. For those that knew me in school, I was not known as a scholar, so I knew that the honor was not coming from my scholarship. In fact, my one son suggested to me that perhaps this honor was because I was such a good twirler on the twirling squad. But I want to thank the committee members for this honor, and I am so proud to join this prestigious group of both past and present inductees, especially including my husband, Roy Kaplan, who was inducted several years ago. I'm so pleased that my family and friends are here, including a longtime friend, Janet Gorman, who you just heard the accolades of, and I second that. Janet and I are friends since Wanamessa Grammar School, and we walked the halls of APHS together. When I graduated from APHS, as I said, I was not a scholar. Um, it may probably have been influenced by the fact that I had met my husband Roy in my freshman year. So my attention was elsewhere. But when I did graduate from APHA, the field of social work was not on my radar at all. In fact, I wanted to work in the fashion industry, and so I went to New York, where I attended the Fashion Institute of Technology. Several years later, newly married, I found myself living in Orono, Maine. So you can kind of deduct that the fashion industry was not going to be an important part of my life there. Roy was starting graduate school at University of Maine, so I looked for a job and I took a position as an interviewer in a research project on maternal health care. And my job was to interview women who had given birth in rural Maine. And I would travel the small islands around Bar Harbor and interview women who were wives of lobster fishermen, worm farmers, to find out what their experiences were in giving birth in an area where the closest OBGYN was 50 miles away. This was a life-changing event for me, a life-changing job. A spark had been ignited. When Roy finished studies at University of Maine and his doctorate at UMass and got a job at State University of New York at Buffalo, I entered the social work program there and found my passion, working with older adults. Not very sexy, but it was my passion, and I did so for over 40 years. My interest in Alzheimer's disease and related disorders, ADRD, was inspired by our grandmother, who started exhibiting symptoms in the late 60s. At that time, there were no diagnoses, there was no dementia care, and when her behavior started to be such as she could not stay at home, there was no choice. She entered Marlborough Psychiatric Hospital, where she died. 20 years later, our mother also developed Alzheimer's disease. And again, 20 years later, there was no care, no dementia-specific care for people with dementia. So these family experiences led me to devote the rest of my career to improving the lives of persons with Alzheimer's disease and related disorders and their families. And most important, educating young people who are the next generation of our professional caregivers and our family caregivers. One of the things that I did do, I actually taught for 34 years, off and on, but the last few years of my career I taught in the School of Aging Studies at University of South Florida, where I taught for 13 years, educating students. I taught a course on Alzheimer's disease, and educated students who would go on to become physicians, nurses, rehab therapists, and nursing home administrators. And I surely hope I made an influence in those folks. What I do want to say to our students that are here today is that this is a whole area that students don't learn about in school. I mean, when we were in high school, we never had a clue about this. What I did do was I did get a grant at one point to bring high school students in to the nursing homes. And I gave them classes on Alzheimer's disease and related disorders, and then I put them in the nursing homes and paired them with persons with dementia in the dementia programs. And it was phenomenal the way that the students responded, and it impacted them both in their families. They understood more about what was going on, family members, but also went into professions, were studying professions. I'd like to end with a quote by Rosalind Carter, who I was fortunate to meet when I was selected to be member of her expert panel on caregiving. There are 4 kinds of people in this world. The first, those who have been caregivers, and I'm sure many of you here have. Second, those are currently caring for people. Third, those who will be caregivers. And finally, those will need caregivers. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Leonard Levine, class of 1961, a life well lived. This will be a little different than the other people's speeches because I'm not sure what Len would have had to say, but I know that he would have congratulated the other honorees, Mark Aronchick, Knowledge Bennett, Dr. Marlena Brown, Yvonne Clayton, Julio Morgan Gillis, Vinnie Gorman, Mary Henderson Kaplan. I got the Kaplan part of that, Mary. And Nubby Napolitano. Welcome all to the Asbury Park High School Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. Len loved the time that he spent at Asbury, and I'm sure that he would be thrilled to know that he's being inducted tonight. You might wonder why I'm giving Dr. Leonard Levine's acceptance speech. Len passed away in 2016. Not only was he my classmate and friend, but I married his younger sister. So I'm Len's brother-in-law, and Len was an important part of our life. Let me start by introducing our guests. Len's sister and my wonderful wife of 51 years, Barbara. Len's nieces and nephews, Michael, Dave, Kate, and Jim. Kate's husband, Jeff, and friends Tony Tamburello and his wife, Dr. Jean Maculitis. As I've said many times, what you say to Tony in confidence stays in Monmouth County. Following 8th grade at Oakhurst School, Len spent the next memorable 4 years at Asbury Park High School. While at Asbury, he ran cross country, was president of the track club, a homeroom VP, a hall monitor, a member of the German club, a megaphone sports writer, a varsity scholar, a participant in school varieties, and he played in the band. He also developed many lifelong friends who became an important part of his life, especially since Len was a confirmed bachelor. In fact, one Valentine's Day, the city of Orlando, where he lived and worked, published a front page listing of its 3 most eligible bachelors, and there was Len. He was indeed one of a kind. After graduating from Asbury, Len entered Wake Forest University. At Wake Forest, he had a wonderful time. In fact, he had such a wonderful time that he lasted only 2 semesters. 1 semester to go on probation, and the 2nd semester to seal the deal. You had to know his parents to know how that went over. It certainly wasn't pretty. It was then that he turned to Monmouth University, which at the time was Monmouth College. Monmouth gave him a second chance, and that's where he got serious about his studies. He would frequently say, referring to Monmouth, that now is my time to return the favor, and he did just that. To show his gratitude, once successful, he donated $1 million to establish scholarships for science majors at Monmouth. At his passing, he left additional funds to Monmouth. To this day, the growth of that fund provides scholarships to 17 students per year, with an opportunity that they would not otherwise be able to afford. As you enter the lobby of the Science Building, you'll see a plaque honoring his generosity to students in support of their studies. After graduating Monmouth, he attended medical school at the University of Bologna in Italy.
Len always had a knack for languages. When it came time to go to medical school, he was off to Italy on the Queen Mary. He took the slower trip so that he could study Italian on the way over. His classes were entirely in Italian. So at Bologna, not only did he receive his MD degree, but he became fluent in Italian. He loved the Italian connection, and years later, when it came time to create a logo for his plastic surgery practice, he chose Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. It showed his love for both his training and the Italian culture. He did his internship at Beth Israel Hospital in Newark, followed by a surgical and plastic surgery residency at Orlando Regional Medical Center. During his residency, he proudly served in the United States Air Force Reserve. Len fell in love with the growing city of Orlando and decided to make it his home. Sometimes people are fortunate enough to find their calling in life, and he was one of those people. To find passion in one's work is truly a blessing. It's often be said that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That was true for Len. He became a skilled plastic surgeon and rose to the title of Chief of Plastic Surgery at Lucerne Hospital while establishing an international practice in plastic surgery. In the practice of medicine, as in life, we all have our heroes. Len's medical hero was Dr. Ivo Pitangay, a famed Brazilian plastic surgeon and philanthropist, who became a national hero in Brazil, both for his skill and his generosity. After his visit to Dr. Pitangay, Len had a renewed direction to his medical practice. As his practice grew, Dr. Levine renovated a historic building into a state-of-the-art medical office with a private operating room and a recovery practice and a recovery cottage for his out-of-area patients. Then as Orlando grew, he built 2 additional medical buildings to help accommodate the growth in the medical community. Between practicing and teaching, he contributed both medically and financially to the growth of Orlando's healthcare system. Upon his passing, he left Orlando Health $1 million to continue his legacy. Dr. Levine leaves a legacy as an accomplished plastic surgeon, an educator, a philanthropist, and a friend that have the good knowledge to know him. He is truly a worthy addition to the Asbury Park Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. I only wish that he could be here tonight to receive this award. Barbara, Len's sister, please come forward to accept this award on Len's behalf.
I just want to say that my brother would have loved this and been so honored. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's almost over. And well, come on up, Angelo, Nubby. I just want to compliment the audience. We've been at a lot of these affairs, and I want to compliment you for your attention and for just being attentive to the speakers. And it's really a good feeling when that happens, and we appreciate it. Thank you. An enthusiastic response, Ira tells me. Okay. Angelo Nubby Napolitano. We graduated high school together. We graduated Asbury Park High School in 1963, and I am so proud to have him as a friend. He was a star in high school. And as to his career at Asbury Park High School, he said the following in some communications that we had. I am so very proud to be a Blue Bishop and wouldn't trade my time or experience there for anything. After high school, he completed his education in Tennessee and ultimately became a coach, a teacher, an assistant principal, a principal, an athletic director, a vocational director in Georgia and in Tennessee. Can you imagine the number of students that he came across during his tenure, and knowing Nubby, the positive effect that he had on those kids is amazing. Nubby's motto in life is treat others as you wish to be treated. Nubby has done that all his life, and we are proud to welcome him into the Asbury Park Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I have one page. I'm a rule follower. They said 3 to 5 minutes. This is 3 minutes and 15 seconds. But I must add first, when Mary was talking about 4 kinds of people, I was always taught by my family that there were only 2 kinds of people, Italians and people who wanted to be Italian. Who we are is due to nature. We are born with characteristics we got directly from our parents. Eye color, height, pattern baldness. I was fortunate to have 2 caring parents who also gave me the ability to love and respect others. My sister Annalie and I are so fortunate to still have our mom, Angelina, with us. She is 102 years old and as hip as anybody in here. She wanted to come tonight, but it was just a little too late for her. Who we become is a function of our experiences and the many people in our lives. While their formal education just went to the 7th grade, my parents wanted their son to have opportunities they never had. They moved to Asbury in 1959 so I could attend APHS. But starting when I was very young, my dad, Big Nubby, took me to as many Asbury games as he could. He felt sports taught great lessons. I remember watching the great Frank Budd, the fastest man in the world. As I grew older, I got to see Vinnie Gorman, Billy Athens, Joe Reed, and more. I remember Dad saying, pay attention to Vinnie. Watch how he acts and what he does. You can learn a lot from him. Jill, my wife of 56 years, has been the biggest positive force in my life. In addition to 2 great children, she has given me purpose and direction. I owe her everything. How could any school be better than Asbury? We had a wonderfully diverse student population. We had great teachers, Mr. Murley, Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Ross, Coach Ville, Mr. Romanis, and more. I met so many friends who impacted my life. Many are here tonight. G.M. Stetter, my closest friend. I would have never had the opportunity to continue my college education were it not for him. Teammates Paul Chiat, Harry Starrett, Ollie Jones, Bob Armstrong, great men. I learned from all of them. At Asbury, in the classroom and on the playing field, one was not prejudged by what one looked like, nor from where one came. I must say that was quite different from my early years in deep South Chattanooga. Each of us has skill sets. Mine certainly is not that of an academician. What I did had no global or national impact. But as an educator, I attempted to show the value in the young people with whom I worked. Getting emotional. My most satisfying memories were the many accomplishments of the neediest students, both in the classroom and on the playing field. I am deeply humbled to be even mentioned alongside these other recipients. Thank you for this recognition, and I will continue to represent our school with honor. My nephew, Brian Wilderman, who is also a teacher at Asbury, is here tonight. And I hope he remembers the song, and I hope it's still carried along, and I hope you folks will, well, I know Janet probably will, sing along. Hurrah, hurrah for Asbury, the blue and the black. Hurrah, hurrah for Asbury, they'll never hold us back. Hurrah, hurrah for Asbury, we'll shout it to the sky. Hurrah, hurrah for Asbury, Asbury High. Go Blue Bishops, go Blue Bishops.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, folks, that's it. You've heard them all. And it's not even 9:30. What a wonderful group of inductees. One spoke better than the next, and each had their own idea of what should be said. And you know, we have this committee. We meet often, and we come from all different parts of local history and our occupations and everything. And we get together and we put all these names in. People refer names. We have about 40 different names, and we came down to these 10. So we'll be back in 3 years with some more people. Let's all promise we'll all be here. Okay. It's a deal. It's a deal. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting all the people that we honored tonight. And we wish them and their families a wonderful lifetime.